Hi, it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. Today's January 19th, and we are looking at the kind of fake clinic the abortion lobby loves. Yes, Clínica Femenina de la Comunidad did not do horrible, inexcusable, dangerous things like pass out diapers and baby formula. That would have been bad. What did they do? Let's find out. So, like the deaths of Jacqueline Smith and Barbara Lofermento, the story of 27-year-old Angela Sanchez involves an illegal abortion and an attempt to hide the body. But the difference is that Angela believed she was entrusting herself to a safe and legal abortion clinic. On January 19th, 1993, Angela went to Clínica Femenina de la Comunidad with two of her four children. 12-year-old Maria and her little brother, who was identified in one source as 2-year-old Victor and in another as 3-year-old Martin. Now, the facility in question was openly operating, presenting itself as a licensed clinic, but it was not a clinic. It was a fake clinic. It was deceiving women, pretending that it was licensed and safe when it wasn't. Tell me when you've heard a pro-choicer be upset about that. They're too busy getting upset about pro-lifers endangering women by handing out baby clothes. Well, Angela's family was later adamant that Angela, who was 1 month pregnant, wasn't actually seeking an abortion. They said that she was excited about the pregnancy and hoping it would be a girl so that Maria would have a sister. Angela's sister Celia said that someone from the facility had called Angela telling her to come in for a consultation about the pregnancy. So it's really unclear how this relationship between Angela and the people at the clinic ever developed. Now, Angela was an illegal alien who worked as a maid, so she didn't have medical insurance to pay for a hospital abortion, but she would have been able to afford a $300 clinic abortion. Unfortunately, the place she went to wasn't actually a clinic, and if she had gone to one of the fake clinics run by pro-lifers, they would have helped her have her baby and perhaps given her daughter a baby sister. But again, that would have been horrible, would have been absolutely horrible to help Angela sort out her immigration status, get a better job, support her children, and have a baby sister for little Maria. That would have been horrible. Far better that she went to a fake clinic run by pro-choicers. Now, according to prosecutors, Angela paid $280 in cash up front. Now, Maria and her little brother waited for their mother in the lobby after she was taken back. Then a clinic staffer approached Maria and suggested that she take the car and drive her brother home. Maria, who again was only 12 years old, protested that she was too young to drive, so the children continued to wait for their mother. At around noon, another staffer took the children to lunch at a nearby fast food joint, and when they returned to the clinic, Angela's car was gone. They told Maria that her mother had gone to another clinic. The children continued to wait, but when their mother failed to appear, Maria finally called her uncle, Angela Sanchez, who took them home with him. Now, by 10 o'clock that night, Angela's family was frantic. They began calling hospitals and searching the neighborhood for their missing loved one. Maria's aunt Celia and two friends took little Maria to a clinic to look for Angela. When they arrived, they saw Angela's car. Maria jumped out of her aunt's pickup truck and ran to the car. 2 years later at the trial, Maria testified, "I saw them dragging something from the clinic. I asked where my mother was. One of the women said she didn't know. Then I saw it was my mother. I saw her drop my mother's legs." Maria asked the women what had happened to her mother, and they told her she's dead. Sobbing, Maria clung to and kissed her mother's body, while the two women from the clinic told Celia that a man had shoved Angela from a car and they were just now picking her up. One of the women was Alicia Ruiz Hanna, age 32, who operated the facility. Hanna told Maria and Celia that Angela had just come knocking on the clinic window, then collapsed. Celia put her sister's stiffened body into the bed of her truck and flagged down a policeman who led her and Maria to a hospital, and there Celia was told that her sister had been dead for several hours. Hanna was arrested and brought to Orange County Jail. In a taped interview, she told police, "I did not do anything bad. I was there for her. I'm innocent." She said she did not attempt to perform an abortion, but had only discussed options with Angela. She said that Angela then left the clinic. Several hours later, Hanna said, a man drove up to the clinic driveway with Angela's unconscious body in the car and then fled the scene. She said she'd been dragging Angela's body out of the car to provide aid when the relatives arrived. She was really cold. I was trying to pull her out, Hanna said. I didn't know she fainted or she was dead. I never touched a dead body before. When police noted that Hanna didn't seem distressed over Angela's death, she insisted she had cried along with Maria. You were crying for yourself, the investigator told her. We've been here for hours and you've shown no remorse. Hanna was released after an original decision not to prosecute, but after a 6-month investigation, prosecutors decided to charge her with murder. And then it took a month for police to track her down and take her into custody. Now, Hanna gave conflicting stories even in court. She testified that getting the results of a positive pregnancy test, Angela had insisted that she wanted an abortion, which again contradicts what Angela's family said. Hanna said she told Angela she was not licensed to perform an abortion and suggested she go to another clinic or return on a day when a doctor would be available. Hanna claimed that Angela had been insistent. She was having trouble with her boyfriend and couldn't take off work another day for an abortion. Now, Hanna had been passing herself off as a doctor and performing abortions at the facility. She said she just gave Angela Valium to calm her and an injection, unspecified, to induce an abortion. Angela vomited, foamed at the mouth, and went into a seizure and then stopped breathing. Hanna said that she'd run down the hall and gotten Narcan, which she injected in the hopes that it would reverse the effects of the Valium. And she said she and her staff attempted to revive Angela, but the clinic's emergency equipment wasn't operative and the oxygen tank was empty. Even if she had been trained and known what she was supposed to do, she didn't have the equipment to do it. One of Hanna's employees even tried to call 911 to summon first responders who were less than a mile away at a fire station, but Hanna told the employee, "No, I'll save her, we'll get in trouble," and hung up the phone. Hanna feared she would go to jail and lose her children if it was discovered that she was running the clinic illegally. She did, however, make a call to her husband and asked him to bring another oxygen tank. I was not thinking straight, she later testified. In my mind, I still had hope of bringing her back to life. Once it became clear that Angela was dead, Hanna decided to await an opportunity to put the woman's stiffening body into the trunk of her own car and have a former employee help her abandon the vehicle in Tijuana. So, Hanna's fake clinic had been tied up with an abortionist named Nicholas George Bramer. Hanna had opened a business under the name of CJ Professional Management Company in 1992 with a limited partnership with Bramer. Bramer said that he'd run a family planning practice there for 4 or 5 months until May or June, having sublet the space from Hanna, who was also running a weight loss clinic at the location. He said, when I disassociated with the clinic, I expected my name would go off the door because the name is registered to me. He made a formal complaint to the medical board about the lack of a name change after his departure, but the clinic itself was never licensed, so nobody was authorized to do anything about it. Now, Hanna had originally used doctors to perform abortions, but had eventually stopped doing them herself as a cost-cutting measure. Prosecutor Rick King characterized Hanna as a wolf in sheep's clothing. She's very attractive, has a very soothing voice. The clientele she reached out to, who were mostly illegal aliens looking for guidance, she would counsel them, with many times resulting in them having abortions done by her. When it came down to Alicia Hanna's hide or the victim's hide, the victim was going to lose, King said. There was a conscious decision made by Alicia Hanna, and the conscious decision was, I'm not going to get caught. In December of 1994, Hanna was convicted of second-degree murder for Angela's death. The jury foreman said that the jury had no trouble finding her guilty. There really wasn't a lot of sympathy for her, he said. And the jurors especially didn't appreciate Hanna's efforts to blame the victim by claiming that Angela was high on drugs when she arrived at the clinic. Another jury said that Hanna was her own worst enemy. So Hanna was also found guilty of performing abortions illegally on Angela and 2 other women who survived. Hanna admitted to having performed an additional 6 or 8 illegal abortions by injecting the women with methergin, a drug used to induce contractions and cause an abortion. During the sentencing hearing, a representative of the family read letters from Angela's mother and daughter. I'm destroyed emotionally. I will never forget these horrible crimes, Maria said, who was 14 by this time. The prosecutor asked for the maximum sentence, asserting that Hanna showed conscious disregard for human life in her failure to summon help that was so close by, just a mile down the road. Hanna's public defender asked that the charge be reduced because she hadn't intended to kill Angela. She was wrong in practicing medicine without a license, but that's involuntary manslaughter, not murder. And he stressed Hanna's attempts to revive Angela. She did what she could. A person who is a murderer doesn't want to save the life of their victim. So Hanna was sentenced to 15 years to life for Angela's death and another 16 months for the related charges. She appealed her sentence, but it was upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court in January of 2000. And as for Angela's 4 motherless children, they were taken in by family members in Mexico. So remember, when you hear pro-choicers complaining about fake clinics that endanger women, they aren't talking about places like the one that killed Angela. They aren't worried about them. They're worried about places that might have handed out baby clothes and helped Angela have her baby and maybe give her daughter a little sister.